Hello, Ben here again for the week 14 video. For the first one, what do I think of the Zurn essay in The Nation magazine, The New Era of Backlash in Sports and Politics? I really think his main idea is just that politics are here to stay in the field of sports. He brings up, I think his name was Hartman, how he thinks that all the politics in the sports is going to get to a tipping point, and the fans are just going to want, like the purest sports fans are just going to want sports. They're not going to want politics or anything like that. And he mentions things like the Miami Heat players kneeling and Rapinoe. But his main point was that politics will always be entwined with sports and that they're not going anywhere. Now, as far as the second question goes, like how did Howard answer the question, what has happened to Black Lives Matter inspired activism in sport? He really starts with just kind of saying how the black athletes were not forced, but kind of thrown into the position to use their voices when they otherwise probably wouldn't have. Like, at the end of the day, they're just there to play the sport, but it's the white people who are forcing them to use their voice. And he also mentions how we only want athletes to use their voice when it's, when it works for us, when it helps us out. For example, using what was his name? Private Joe Louis, like having him hold the gun to, like, kind of for propaganda, when in reality, most black soldiers were just mopping the decks. But like Howard was saying, having a black kid holding a mop isn't going to help the war effort. So, they want the politics in the sports when it's convenient to them, propping up the military, things like that. For the third question, what do I think is the most important thing I learned within the heritage? It would really just be how the athletes are put in these positions of activism and to use their force, not really by choice, but more so just because of the color of their skin and the positions that they're in and the amount of people that will listen to them. And I think that's important because they're not doing it because they have to, or some of them are doing it for the right reasons. But a lot of the athletes are kind of doing it because they're forced to use their voice. For the fourth question, what did I find most important from Zurn's the Kaepernick effect? I would say the biggest takeaway I had is just how the profound impact that one person can have on so many other people, and just how big sports are as a platform, and they can be used for social activism. And then for the last one, whose kind of ideas do I align with more? I would say Zurn, because he's more focused on using the sport as a tool to kind of say what you're saying, and Bryant is more focused on past athletes and their effects on activism. So I would definitely say I agree with Zurn more because he's focused more on modern times and what modern activism can do to impact the world.